Okay, let's get started with 2-4 circles. All right, so we will figure out the center and radius of a circle from the standard equation. We'll graph it, and then we will transform those equations of circles to standard form by completing the square. So remember, completing the square, we take b, we divide it by 2, and square it to figure out what magic number completes the square. All right, let's give it a shot. So we have a standard form. The circle is going to be given by this formula where the center is at h comma k. So x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. Your radius is at r. Note that the right side of the equation will be r squared. So the radius will be the square root, whatever you see over here. And then we'll have general form. General form is where you get 0 on one side, everything else on the other, and everything is factored, not factored out, multiplied out to get an x squared and a y squared. All right, so we'll see how that works in a couple slides. So we've got ourselves a circle. So just graphically, here's what we've got. Here's our center at h comma k, and we have a radius coming out this way. If we do have a point on the circle, that would be our x and our y in our equation. So again, here's our equation. X and y would be some point on the circle. And once again, h and k is the center. R squared is, so r is the radius. Notice how it is minus the h and minus the k. So if the center was at 2 comma 3, you would have x minus 2. You would have y minus 3 in your formula. All right, and if you are centered at the origin, you won't have anything to subtract, so you'll have x squared plus y squared. And if the radius is 1, centered on the origin, we call that the union circle. You're going to do that a lot next year in pre-calculus. All right, so let's find the center and the radius of the given circle. So here's the center, 2 and negative 1. Just that quick, you can do it by looking at the formula. And your radius is not 4, but the square root of 4, which is 2. You might say the square root of 4 is plus or minus 2 because we're putting the square root there, but you cannot have a negative radius. So we will say the radius is just positive 2. All right, your turn. Give it a shot. Hopefully you found the center is negative 1, negative 2 with a radius of square root of 9, which is 3. All right, the center of this one, fractions and radicals works just the same. So your center here is at 1/2 comma negative 1/3. And your radius is the square root of 20, which if you broke this down is the square root of 4 times 5, which is 2 rad 5. However, we do know that 20 is somewhere between 16 and 25. So 2 rad 5 is approximately somewhere between 4 and 5. So call it 4.5. We could look it up exactly, but in terms of graphing, we want to graph this. So our center is at 1/2, so halfway between 0 and 1, and negative 1/3, so a third of the way down. So there's our center. Now our radius is about 4.5. So let's have our tick marks going up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Going down 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Going to the right 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And to the left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Not perfectly equal, but remember this is just a sketch. We're getting approximation here. So 4.5 will go about a half. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's one edge of your circle. And let's go 4.5 the other way. So a half. 1, 2, 3, 4 to right about there. And let's go 4.5 up. So let's count the 4 first. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and another half would put you right about there. And we'll go 4.5 down. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and another half or so would put us right about there. So if we were to draw this as a circle, this is going to look much uglier on my screen. Drawing with the digital pen, not the easiest thing in the world. Oh, it looks like I've lost that other one. A half, 1, 2, 3, 4. There it is. And if this was drawn on a nice corner plane with good tick marks, that would actually be a circle. So hopefully your pen and paper version is better than my digital screen version of that one. But that's what we're looking at. All right, so example 3, determining the equation of a circle if we have the center and the radius. So we know that it's x minus h minus negative 2 would be x plus 2 squared. All right, and so for a circle, remember that our formula has a plus in the middle. So we say plus y minus the y at the center, y minus 3, equals 5 squared. 5 squared is 25. So let's go ahead and graph this. The center is at negative 2, comma 3. And our radius is 5. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in this direction. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in this direction. And we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down from the center. Connect it in the most beautiful circle you can draw. And there you go. So your turn. All right, so the equation should be x minus 0 squared, which would just be x squared, plus y minus 1 squared equals 3 squared, which is 9. Go ahead and graph this. We're at 0, 1 for our center. We'll go up 3, 1, 2, 3. We'll go right 3, 1, 2, 3. We'll go left 3 from the center. We'll go down 1, 2, 3 from the center and connect it with a nice circle. All right, so we're up to the general form. All right, so what is the general form useful for? It is useful for solving when we have two different points. All right, so if the point 10, negative 4 lies on the circle and 7, negative 8, find the equation of the circle. Okay, so on this one, we know, let's go ahead and start with the x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared version of this one. So on this one, we have an x number. So we have 10. Okay, remember the x and the y numbers are the points on the circle, minus the center, so 7, squared, plus center at y, negative 4, minus negative 8, squared equals r squared. All right, so now we can say 3 squared plus negative 4 plus 8 is 4 squared equals r squared. 9 plus 16 equals r squared, and so 25 equals r squared. So we have, let's go back to our original equation with a general point, not this one anymore. So we'll say x minus 7 squared plus y plus 8 squared equals r squared, which we found out to be 25. All right, but we do want this in general form, so we're going to square everything and move everything to the left. So this will be x squared minus 14x plus 49 plus y squared plus 16y plus 64 equals 25. So we'll write this as x squared plus the y squared, write those first, minus the x plus the y, and then we have 49 plus 64, so that's 113, plus 25, so 113. We need to bring this over, minus 25, minus 25. And so that would be 100, oh, come back, 108 minus 20 would be 88. So plus 88 equals 0. That is the general form of that circle. Your turn. Okay, let's go right to it. 1 minus negative 5 squared plus 11 minus 3 squared equals r squared. So we have 6 squared plus 8 squared equals r squared. This is 36 plus 64, which is 100, equals r squared. All right, so let's go ahead and write this out. We have x plus 5 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals 100. X squared plus 10x plus 25. Remember, when you're squaring this, this is x plus 5 times x plus 5. And if you were to FOIL this, you would get x squared plus 5x plus 5x plus 25. You can always just double this number to get the middle number. So we'll do that with the next one. Y squared, double negative 3, you get negative 6y plus 9, 100. We'll have x squared plus y squared, 10x, 6y. 25 plus 9 is 34. minus 100 is negative 66. So minus 66 equals 0. All right, and the last thing we'll do here is find the center and the radius by completing the square. So in this problem, we have x squared minus 8x. I'm going to put a little space here for our magic number to complete the square. Plus y squared plus 20y. I'm going to take that 107 and put it on the other side. All right, so what number completes the square here? Half of 8 is 4, negative 4. And negative 4 squared is 16. Half of 20 is 10. And 10 squared is 100. If we added 100 on one side, we need to add 100 on the other. And if we added 16 on one side, we have to add 16 on the other. This becomes x minus 4 squared plus y plus 10 squared equals 107 taken away from 100 is negative 7. And then you add 16. 16 minus 7 is 9. There you go. All right, so the center would be at 4, negative 10 from that and that. And the radius is the square root of 9, which is 3. Your turn. Okay, should have done this. X squared plus 4x plus y squared minus 6y equals 12. So half of 4 is 2. 2 is 4. Half of negative 6 is negative 3. Squared is 9. So 12 plus 4 plus 9. Okay, so we have x plus 2 squared plus y minus 3 squared. 12 plus 4 is 16. 16 plus 9 is 25. And so we have the center at negative 2, 3, and the radius at 5, of the radius of 5. All right, good job. We'll see you in class.